So John Basten with the Midstate Group is here. Also, hi, John. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here. Thank you for allowing me to come in.
Yes, 4 days till Christmas. Are you ready?
I don't know if one could ever be ready. I got 4 kids, but we're doing our best. Gifts are flowing in, and
not have any supply chain problems or anything like that.
Not with us. No, we're no major computer systems trying to stay away from video games and things like that this Christmas.
This is a good Christmas for that. That's for sure.
So far, so good.
We've heard so much about the Midstate Group and what you all do as far as human resources needs for companies and cybersecurity needs, Midstate Cyber. But today you're going to tell us about a different component of the Midstate Group, and it's Midstate Cares. John, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, we've got some amazing customers. They're very generous, and over the years, as we have supported nonprofits such as Big Brothers Big Sisters, Freedom 424, Proven Men, and many others, we really wanted to give them a better platform as they give us money, that it would be a donation, a tax deductible donation. And so we started our own nonprofit about 2 or 3 years ago, and it really has given us a better platform to really engage and be part of the community of giving. And so we have got a couple of great initiatives starting in 2022, and I appreciate you allowing me to come in and talk about those.
Great. And so a couple of the charities that you all support, you mentioned them, Freedom 424, and we're going to hear from Jacqueline Blackford momentarily. And another one is Proven Ministries. Mm-hmm. And I had the chance...
We're all in the same building together. So and that's one of the reasons why we purchased the building on Bedford Avenue, is to have a collaborative environment, especially for nonprofits. And we've got some wonderful nonprofits in our building, Sports Outreach, Proven Men, and Freedom 424.
Right, because when you hear about the purpose and the focus of these organizations, they all kind of tie in together, or many of them tie in together.
They really do.
So I had a conversation. I had the chance to talk to Nick Liberto. He is the head of Proven Ministries. And I'll play a little clip of that conversation where he explains to us, for folks who are not familiar with Proven Ministries, and then a new initiative of theirs, and it has to do with parents talking to their kids.
This is going to be much more interesting than talking about Mansion.
Yes, definitely so.
Sure.
But here's my conversation with Nick Liberto.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good. Tell us about Proven Ministries. What is it all about?
Yeah, I'd be honored to. So Proven Ministries has been around for 20 years now. We're a national ministry that is based in Lynchburg, Virginia, and our primary focus is to equip the local church and the Christian family with sexual integrity resources. So for the longest time, we have Proven Men. It's a 12-week study for guys to do in a local church. We now have Proven Women. It's the same kind of study. And then we have Proven Wives now. And our newest thing that Midstate Cares is really excited about is we have been really just running and gunning and producing the coolest new resource for parents. And so I know some of the listeners right now may not remember if they ever had the sex talk with their parents. I know I did and would have liked maybe a bit more. And most of the people that I talk to say I never even had the sex talk with my parents. And so we saw that that was an issue, and we decided that we wanted to help. And so Proven Ministries is now in the middle of creating what's going to be called the sextalk.com. And it's going to be like a masterclass for parents to be equipped to have the sex talk with their children. And Midstate heard about that, and Midstate Cares has really just been awesome in getting behind us with this project. And so we're just honored to be in the middle of this project. So if you're listening right now, don't go to that URL because there's nothing there yet. We're literally and actively building. But also, if you want to be involved, you can just go to provenministries.org and just contact us. You can get in early if you'd like. You can help support us as we continue to create this product. But we hope to launch it June 1st of next year. And we really do hope that this will be a name brand in a recognized Christian home of what parents use to have the sex talk with their children.
So there you go, a little bit of my conversation with Nick Liberto, and we'll put the entire thing at our website, WLNI.com, as he talked more about and explains the sex talk.
Yes, hope you had enough coffee this morning to be able to deal with this kind of subject.
Brian and Bisker are like, whoa, what? What was that? And as John, you have teenagers. I have teenagers and older. But he says, and again, more of this at WLNI.com, but that it can start as early as 7 with just basic anatomy and things like that. And it's the conversation that you have over the course of a decade that is awkward as it can be for parents.
No,
it
never.
Is something.
That conversation's always fun to have with your kids. I remember the the day when my father talked to me about it. I still kind of have shivers. I get in the fetal position.
My dad just told me, look, the kids in the playground will tell you everything you need to know. Don't worry about that. Just learn it all in the streets.
Just learn it on the streets like I did. No, but that it's just very important, as awkward as it can be for parents to have this conversation and to provide their children some guidance. And it's not just necessarily sitting down and saying, we're going to have this talk. It's just conversations over the course of a decade.
Mentorship, coaching, and I've got 4 kids, and it's tough. I mean, there needs to be a whole nonprofit just dealing with parents and how to deal with the sex talk.
Right.
Just the stress and I mean, it's tough. And so I just remember as growing up as a kid with my father. I hope my father's not listening here today. And it was just horrible. It was a very difficult conversation with him, and it was at a restaurant, and it was the most awkward, embarrassing conversation I think I've ever had. And so, having
how'd your dad enjoy it?
I don't know. I think I remember, because I was like 10. I think I remember him having a couple drinks beforehand. but so at Midstate Cares, we're really trying to find resources. There's a lot of risks out there when it comes to having a family, being a parent, and we want to try to help navigate parents through some of these landmines. And Proven Men, because they're in the building, because we have this great collaborative environment, they've got some great tools for moms and dads out there to utilize to make it a more safe and structured environment instead of having to rely maybe on a bottle of vodka to get you through it.
And as much as we laugh about it, have a chuckle about this and how awkward it can be. It's, Nick has pointed out that what's going on in our world right now with all the pressures that teens are under, of course, teens have always had the raging hormones and that kind of thing, but these days what's new is the technology and that constant pressure of social media.
Yeah.
And then there's look at what we're seeing in society that's the result of sexual struggles. And you have a story in the news right now, a man who is a sex offender accused of murdering a woman. I mean, this is serious business.
Yeah, all jokes aside, is that one leads to the other. So we need to invest in our children, coach them properly through some of these most difficult issues, because if we don't, they are going to find out the information, as what Brian said, through this jungle out there of information, which is not safe. And what is happening, and this is near and dear to me. We have a very close family that we're a part of, and just a couple of years ago, their 13-year-old child was literally hours away of being abducted, and it all came because of the internet and this new social paradigm that our kids now are a part of. And you think you're talking with a fellow 13-year-old, but really it's a 43-year-old man behind the system who has nefarious goals. And so how do we, and this person literally was hours away from being abducted. This person was going to meet this supposedly very wealthy teenager who was saying all the right things online. And luckily, the mother found out just the night before. And again, the daughter was getting ready to sneak out that morning. And so this is where the intersection of Proven Men really comes in with Freedom 424 and what they're doing.
Yeah, let's bring Jacqueline Blackford into the conversation here. Jacqueline joins us by phone, and she is with Freedom 424. Hi, Jacqueline. Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Jacqueline.
Thanks for joining us. Remind our listeners about Freedom 424, your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So Freedom 424 is a local anti-human trafficking nonprofit. So our mission is to prevent and end sexual exploitation and trafficking both locally and globally. And we do that kind of through 2 main ways. We provide prevention education, and we also expand the restoration work of our partners. We have partners who are dealing one-on-one with survivors of human trafficking. We have them in the U.S., and then we also have partners in India, Thailand, and Uganda.
It's great work that you all are doing, Jacqueline. And, John just shared the story about his friends of the family where the girl was communicating with someone online that she thought was another teenager. Talk about, Jacqueline, online child exploitation in our area and some of the ways that traffickers, some of the tactics that they use to lure their victims.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that a lot of people don't believe it's happening right here in our area. And it's not a reason, to be scared and, say all the numbers to cause fear, but it's really caution to not ignore the reality of what's happening and to protect our children. And, just in our area, we have a contact at the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. And I believe it was just January to September of this year, there were already 89 kids identified that were rescued from online child exploitation. So what does that mean? That can be victims of child pornography, child abuse imagery. It's another way to say that. And that's only the ones identified, and there were about 184 arrests of perpetrators across our task force in this area as well. So this is a real issue. It's happening right here. And there are things we can do about it. The part, too, about, it's not always easy to identify these situations. A lot of us have this misconception that trafficking is kind of like the movie Taken, right, where there's a van and children are being abducted. And while that does happen, the top two ways traffickers are luring victims in the U.S. is, number one, through romantic relationships. So another way to say that is like the boyfriend tactic. So boyfriend or girlfriend figures trafficking someone they trust, right? So that's number one way. And the number two way is familial trafficking, which hits me, really. Yeah. That one is such an injustice and so sad. These children are supposed to be able to trust their family members, and instead they're being exploited by their family members. And, to identify victims, it's easy to identify them when they go missing or you haven't heard from them. But when it's people they trust trafficking them, they're not missing. They're right around us. They're in proximity to us. And we really just need to learn how to identify it. And similar to what Proven Men Ministries is doing, sitting down with parents and youth and teaching them what it looks like, what are the red flags of these unhealthy relationships, how to protect yourself online. 80% of trafficking happens online. That really has changed the game. So Freedom 424 is really passionate about that, the prevention part of it, sitting down with parents and with youth and businesses and churches, and then also the restoration. When victims have been trafficked, they need so much care, spiritual care, medical care, housing, all of that. So we kind of have that two-pronged approach in what we're doing and, seeing in our area and just being more aware of it.
And I know that January is trafficking awareness, human trafficking awareness.
Slavery and human trafficking prevention month. So it's perfect.
Yeah,
I know, right?
So Jacqueline, what should people do if they want to find out more information?
Absolutely, yeah. They can go to freedom424.org. On our page, we have an educate page where parents can find resources, youth can find resources, and we have a class specifically for parents as well. Just talking about exploitation, we want youth to be able to come to their parents and tell them what's happening and not be afraid. So they can go to freedom424.org. They can also go to our page and, it's end of year giving. We have a 424 Ally campaign going on right now where people can give monthly to support our work. So there's lots of ways to get involved and just going to our website. Also filling out our contact form if someone just wants to give us a call and find ways that would best fit them to help fight this injustice.
That's freedom424.org. We're talking to Jacqueline Blackford. And then we had talked with Nick Liberto about Proven Ministries, and that website is provenmen.org. And the sextalk.com will be coming out shortly in June. But John, this is just something that Midstate Cares is very passionate about, being able to support these kinds of charities.
Yeah, and these are all really children-focused, family-focused organizations. And, it's just like what Jacqueline said, we've got to educate our families. And there is a lot that we just don't know. And what you don't know really can hurt you. And it's just a matter of leaning in and understanding these tactics and how you can just keep your sons and your daughters safe from these type of bad actors. It
can be awkward for parents to talk about things like this and to say, what do you to have that conversation about
Yeah.
what they're looking at online or what they're experiencing in the classroom, that kind of thing, what
Well,
they're talking about with their friends, but
It
parents
really
need
is.
to do it.
And this just gives you a safe environment and structured environment to have these conversations, because it might be a little awkward now, but think about how devastating and awkward it's going to be. And it's not awkward, it's devastating what can happen to a family if a child is kidnapped, if children go down a different, maybe darker path when it comes to sexuality. And so we better educate our kids now about it to prevent a lot of heartache
down the
and
road
devastation
and
down
worse.
the road.
Yeah. Jacqueline Blackford, freedom424.org is the website. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks,
so much.
Jacqueline.
And John Basten, Midstate Cares. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
For everything. We'll talk to you again soon. We'll be talking to Jacqueline more too, as January, as we said, is Awareness and Prevention Month. And then if you want to hear the entire conversation with Nick Liberto with Proven Ministries, more about that project that they have in the works, the Sex Talk, we'll have that at WLNI.com.
Wonderful. Thanks for having them on.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.